We advise that you get a structural engineer, structural and civil engineer. They ensure that the skeleton, the bones of the building are sturdy enough to withstand any force. Well, here we don't have to consider seismic, but in some certain areas, they actually do consider that. They also have a board. I believe it's called Engineers Board of Kenya. As a standard, they charge 3%, and it's also distributed in the same manner. I believe the same body governs mechanical and electrical engineers. Just as the name suggests, electrical would cover anything from alarms, CCTV, lighting, solar, generators, inverters, just generally that scope. And they too would be able to recommend subcontractors that are well versed in that area. Mechanical engineers do the sewer, water reticulation in the building. If you have any special requirements, say a filtration system, maybe you want to recycle your water, that's when the mechanical engineer would come in. They usually come in as a package. So you'd find it's anywhere between 2 to 3%. Some clients say, I don't want to know what it costs. I don't want a quantity surveyor, but we advise that it's good for you to know what the costs are. Quantity surveyors are also governed by the same body that governs architects. They act also as kind of like your lawyers in a way. And of course, they also manage the costings. They charge 3%. Distributed in the same manner. And the roles translate right from what Rita has shared, which is pre-contract, to post-contract and construction. Contract being what you sign with the contractor. Over and above that, there's several other consultants that you could get in. Most of them don't have really a structured way of charging. A land surveyor would charge, say, based on acreage and what you'd like them to capture in their document. You can get an audio specialist, you can get a lighting specialist, you have interior designers, and there's also a difference between interior decor, interior design. A lot of them tend to structure it about 10%, but again, it varies. You have landscape architects, and also for them, it varies. A lot of these consultants, including architect, like you've seen, because it's under various stages, you can decide to engage on certain stages and omit others. It's not unheard of. And that can also assist you in terms of sort of managing your expenses. You see, the beauty of a budget versus your needs. I want to build one home. I have no intention, like I found my dreamland. I have no intention of building again. But what are my needs? Am I building it for retirement? Am I building it so that it becomes a family home even when I'm gone? And once we can answer some of those questions, then we can start working with budget, because can it fit within your budget? Do we need to downsize? Maybe you were talking about a 5-bedroom house. Maybe you've talked about large windows. I don't want any grills, for instance. When you tell us your budget, you can tell, okay, fine, this looks like it can fit within, Or sometimes it could be a situation of maybe let's compromise on your timber flooring. We have options. You have your engineered wood, you have your laminate. Maybe there's some clients who'll say, for me, wooden floor is a non-compromise. So then we go backwards and say, okay, what do you think we can downsize on? And there are various ways of phasing out construction. It could be, I want a 4-bedroom, but right now I want to put a 2-bedroom with the option of adding on. And I want to enter that house when it's complete. Or there's someone who'd say, look, my need is not immediate, my need is in 5 years. So we can advise you and say, okay, put the shell up. Because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever seen a construction where it's maybe 2 years old, but it looks really worn out. And there's some things that it's advisable for you to do so that you don't end up doing remedial works or abortive works. We'd advise a client, okay, fine, if you're putting up the shell, maybe if it's exposed stone, put in some sealant, maybe get it to the roof level, or maybe put at least the beam so that the weather elements don't erode the building too much. So we get it to a point where when the building sits, it can maybe wait for another year before the next stage comes in. So I think it's very important to sort of outline how it can be phased out.
When you looked at those 5 stages, there's the stage called inception. And maybe for the benefit of people listening, the stage called inception is for free. When you sit down with your architect and you look at all these options, it does not cost you. I think that's what I really want to emphasize, because as an architect, the most important requirement for me is to try and understand what you need as a client. And the thing about design is that there is no one solution, one fixed solution that will fit everybody. So this stage of inception where you clarify your requirements to your architect is very, very important, because one misconception that I hear is that maybe as an architect, we are trying to build our dreams. No, the most important vision is not the vision that the architect has, but the vision that you have as a builder, and how I will interpret it is what now we call the design. So for me, I would want to emphasize that have a discussion with an architect, someone you trust, someone who will be able to translate this dream, because then you will now be able to look at what options there are that fits your requirements. Audrey had asked, how are you assured of quality during construction? Now, quality is a standard. What standards do you want? These are the questions that that initial meeting with your architect will set out, and it will now be defined in a properly written out brief that I want a house that serves this purpose, that is of this quality, that says this about me. So that initial client meeting is very important for you to get your vision out there. There is nothing wrong with online plans. A lot of us will get our inspiration from there, but bring them along to such a discussion so that we can be able to understand really what you require and be able to translate it appropriately, because there really is no one size fits all solution in design, in construction of a building. So for me, I'd insist, just take that step. It does not cost, and you will be able to be advised on what will fit your budget, what will fit your time, and whatever other challenges and opportunities that the project presents. It is the first step, because I've also seen even on the charts that someone is asking, apart from doing drawings, what other roles do people have? You know, sometimes you even may not be decided about what you want. And so you're looking for different options as to what I need to construct. So there are additional services that we will be able to advise on who would do them, either other consultants or ourselves as architects as part of the work. So that initial advice, that initial interaction is very important to kind of define the scope of services.